First I turned handles for the corkscrew, then for the coffee scoop, and just recently for the ice cream scoop. Now it's time for the bottle stoppers. Now, do you remember this from about 3 episodes back? Now this piece here, it's a little bit rotten here in the middle, but both ends are good. So there's lots of good crabapple wood there. Well, that was 4 days ago. But since then I've looked at this piece of wood and there's a lot of bad places on it. Now, mind you, I only do need a piece about a little over 1 inch square and about 2 inches long. Surely I can find 4 pieces like that. Now, all of these pieces have parts that are good. For instance, I can't use this section here, but this section from here to here seems to be okay. Turn it over here. Yeah, that's probably pretty good. Now, I don't know about the center. Now, as for the diameter of the knobs, they have to be at least as big as this. Now, these two larger ones, they're about 1 inch, and they're both the same. This one here, it's about 7/8 of an inch. And the smaller one, well, it's that much. Well, 24 hours has passed now, and I've been thinking about this crabapple wood. You know, that's kind of punky there. Got this bad crack in it here. Got a crack here. This is really soft. Can't use that. You know, there's this area here that's large enough, but I don't know if I turn this over. You know, I got the same problems all the way through. And this just isn't large enough. Well, you know, I've checked all of those pieces that I cut up yesterday on the bandsaw. And every one of them, well, I could probably get a few pen blanks out of it, but nothing that's big enough for the bottle stoppers. And, you know, I've said before, life is what happens to you while you're making other plans. And my other plans were everything out of crabapple wood. And this is life. I'll just have to use something else, and it's going to be okay. Now, there's one more thing that I'm going to say about this particular piece of crabapple wood, and then I'm not going to talk about it anymore. And that is that the fellow that gave it to me, he had no idea that it was like this on the ends. He, like me, thought it was probably just rotten in the middle, and the ends were fine. However, one of my neighbors a few months ago gave me a piece of monkey wood, and it is in good shape, so that's what I'm going to use. Now, this piece of monkey wood, it used to be one of those big heavy-duty tables, you know, the kind that you used to see in restaurants or maybe in a bar, and it does have a few screw holes in places, so I'm going to have to work around that, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. Now, you'll notice that that monkey wood actually looks a little lighter than the crabapple wood. Well, you have to remember that the crabapple wood has had the polish applied, and the monkey wood hasn't. I'm thinking that once the monkey wood has the polish on it, it's actually going to look a little bit darker than the crabapple. We'll soon know. You know, sometimes I do the stupidest things. I left this sitting on the bandsaw table overnight. Guess you know what I got now. Now, this little one, that's sweat, and I know for a fact it is not mine. Okay, I'm sure you got the idea. So, do you remember the sweat drop? Now on this entire board, except for the screw holes, this is the only place that there's a crack, as far as I know, and it's just at the one end, on the corner. I can easily work around that. If I set my fence here to the same dimension as this board is thick, I'll end up with a piece 1.5 by 1.5 inches. Now speaking of fences, I know I've talked about this before. This is a good saw, but the fence is terrible. I don't know what happened here. Rikon really dropped the ball. This fence is just so flimsy. Now I was just about ready to start doing my sawing here, and I discovered that this board is not the same size here. This must have been the edge of the table or something. Now fortunately, I've got another board. And it is the same. Now this other board is considerably thicker than the first one. So I'm going to set everything to a dimension rather than, in other words, I'm going to make it 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. There we go. Now lock my flimsy fence in place here and we're in business.